Hello, everyone. Welcome here. MTL Sports, one episode 116. We got Mr. Lawrence, aka Mr. Panther, aka First Dub. First Dub's in the books by his new favorite, the Red Rifle, my old but wrinkly quarterback. I mean, what? Uh, so today we're gonna recap Week 3. All right, guys. NFL Week 3. And we're going to recap some of the games in the college football space. Epic conclusion to that Colorado game. Some other good games. Arch Manning has his first official start for Texas. So we'll recap some of these games that happen in the CF college football realm as well. So with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's kick off Week 3. Lawrence, we didn't make picks again for this week, so sorry guys. We'll try to get on top of that. But first off, let's just recap, because this was actually when I first looked at it. And we talked in the group chat a little bit on I think it was Sunday morning or even a little bit on Saturday. We're like, yeah, some of these games are kind of poopy. We weren't really feeling it in terms of some of the money line spreads, even prop bets that we usually kind of brainstorm on the weekend. So, but some of these games turned out pretty decently. Lawrence, any games you want to touch on, or should we just go game by game, or how you feeling? Let's hear it. Mm-hmm. Was this CJ Stroud's worst game he's played? I feel like he hasn't played worse than this. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they're 2-0 at home. I guess they had one game away, so
Giants. I only watched the fourth quarter, watched the third quarter of this game.
uh-huh.
Even to the and not in that fourth quarter, uh, pretty incredible. I mean, you can write a novel on that. I think they were given the ball at least, I want to say, four different possessions. I know one ended in a fumble, two ended on turnovers on downs. I mean, it was just pathetic. They couldn't do anything to try to move that ball the first half. And then the second half, when they can move the ball and when the going gets tough and the tough get going, they did not get going. So I think that kind of tells you what the Browns are. I think both these teams are going to be looking at coaching towards the end of the season, in my opinion, as a weak point or as a point in which they might want to improve on. I think the Browns are kind of, I guess, wishing the Deshaun Watson thing had gone a little differently at this point. But yeah, I think the Giants, they poured it on it early. If you paid attention to it, the second half, the Giants were the Giants. They just had a really good first half. That's pretty much what it came down to. Bears, Colts, I watched the end of this as well. Caleb Williams didn't look horrible, but he didn't look great.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that his O line can't protect him long enough for him to even be able to develop routes and get things going is might be a hindrance for him for the future. I'm not saying for them to shut it down, put up shop. Like, no, I'm thinking more so on the lines of, yeah, maybe you're noticing that your quarterback isn't the worst thing, but he's not the best thing right now. And a lot of it has to deal with the fact that he can't even get a 3-step drop without having to run. So it may be time for you to go out and get some O-line to protect him. I don't know what needs to be said about that, other than the O-line is just so tragically bad. And I don't even want to be a hater on him because, I'm not a biggest fan. I always thought he was going to be kind of like overhyped coming out of college and stuff like that. And then, I kind of sitting here eating my words because, I still believe it, but I'm not giving him a fair trial because he's not even getting a chance to, prove that he is any good because the offense is O-line. I don't even say his weapons or anything that bad. It's just O-line is just that bad. And his running game isn't much to be desired either. They can't get going. Steelers, Chargers, I watched a little bit of that. Watching Herbert get hurt was a little bit of a sad sight, but I had the Steelers money line with the Packers money line, so I was really, really, really cheering from them Steelers. I don't do that very often, so please don't cancel me. I hate the Steelers as much as you guys do. But anywho, I think the Steelers did Steeler things, which is play really good defense and have a subpar quarterback get the job done. And that's exactly what they did. They had a subpar quarterback performance, but he got the job done. Honestly, I thought it was probably one of his better performances as a pro, even though he did throw one interception and on multiple drives kind of looked lackadaisical. But his throws across the middle, be able to find guys open, and then the rack yards that people kept getting were kind of the turning point for this game. The Steelers just defensively were better than the Chargers. I think the Chargers had a lot to show for themselves early on, but I think they kind of, once Herbert went down and Heineke couldn't even, I think they smelt blood, and TJ Watt was just a menace to Heineke, so that kind of fizzled out anything going in that direction for that game. That's my synopsis of the 1 o'clock games. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on any of the games. So the 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, 1 o'clock games, just a couple things. Giants, Browns. The only thing I have to say on this is, yeah, you're right. Giants had a hot first half. Browns are doing Browns things. I think my only little comment on this game is, I think the Browns' offensive line is just, I mean, Kevin Stefanski did a great job last year, with Deshaun going out and then DTR and then, it was ordering to, Joe Flacco and he's still making the playoffs. So I give him props for that. But what happened to this offensive line? I mean, I don't even think if Nick Chubb comes back, if he'll be able to even, do what he does or even make competent running back play. I mean, they just got awful. Deshaun doesn't really have time to throw. Ford, who is a decent number 2 running back, hasn't been able to get any decent gains on the ground. So, it's pretty questioning or questionable, like what is going on in terms of offensive line play. It's just have not been good. I know defensively, the injury bug is kind of getting to them. So, we'll see. We'll continue to monitor that situation. Packers Titans. One of the games I had on my multi-view of NFL Sunday Ticket. I know it's only been 3 games, but I really do think the Titans made a huge mistake with just giving up with Malik Willis. I feel like the first year they threw Malik Willis out there after I don't know if they still had Tannehill, Lawrence, but they just threw him out there when their starter got hurt, and yeah, he looked awful, but it looked like you didn't really prepare him for anything. And then last year, I think he had some chances to play in between, Will Levis, and I think Tannehill was still there. And, it still looked like he just wasn't prepared, And so, they shipped him off to Green Bay. Jordan Love's hurt. Malik Willis has looked really, really good, and I don't. I mean, if it just seems like he has a competent, coach who's willing to work with him and show him. I mean, not show him the ropes, but just like, hey, we're just gonna play to your strings, and you could arguably say he has, as much of a case for comeback player of the year, at least so far in his two starts, as Justin Fields, because Justin Fields he's played pretty well too, in Pittsburgh. So, and Will Levis just looks lost. And I'm going to talk about another quarterback, in year two that looks kind of lost in similar ways, but he looks lost. And you alluded to it earlier when we previewed this team, Lawrence, that you bring even a small amount of pressure, and he kind of crumbles and kind of panics a little bit. And yeah, I think at this point, I'm comparing him to a poor man's Josh Allen, like just a gunslinger who's just gonna throw it up there and not really process too much, but he doesn't even run as well as Josh. So I mean, I don't know. And Brian Callahan just seems kind of frustrated the whole some of the decisions he's making. So we'll see how long this experiment lasts, but it's not looking too good for Will Levis. Bears Colts. Only thing I have to say is both quarterbacks just did not play well. Jonathan Taylor was kind of the Colts saving grace here. He had a good game once again. I know I talked in the group chat about Anthony Richardson. The guy just doesn't really process. Like, his processing power is just not, at least the first couple games, doesn't seem like it's all the way going. Like, his CPU is probably running at 50% when he has the capability of going 100%. Mm-hmm. But like, his pick in the end zone, like, bro, why are you like, your one receiver is covered by three guys. Why are you just lobbing it in there? That didn't make any sense. Just take the sack and just kick a field goal. Like, it's just like stuff like that. As like a second year quarterback, I can understand if you're a rookie quarterback, okay. And the situation in Florida, he didn't play a lot of games, so okay, you give him the benefit of the doubt. But in your second year,
we didn't get to play at all. He was gone. I think he only played like 4 games. He destroyed his shoulder.
Yeah, but I mean, you watch Minshew basically almost get this team to the playoffs. So you would think, hey, watching competent quarterback play, you think, hey, maybe I shouldn't make plays like this. These are just too risky, and I don't think he has that. That's something he has to learn as he continues to play. So I'm not totally down on Richardson, but those are just the things I've noticed from him. And Caleb, you're right, he just doesn't have an offensive line. This man's running for his life every play. That's pretty much it out of the 1 o'clock games. I was yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for the 1 o'clock games. The Broncos beat the brakes off the Bucks. I mean, but I don't really want to talk about that. I guess we can move on to the 4.
I don't even think I watched it right.
I watched the first couple, and I was like, dear Lord, they were beating the brakes off of the Bucks. So they were just getting whatever they wanted. I mean, it's not much to say there. The Bucks just played bad at home. They just laid an egg. Like, there's just nothing else I got to comment or say about this. So I guess we can move on to the 4 o'clock games. We can start with your Panthers if you want.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's the only game I did watch for the 4 o'clock game. The rest of them, I give my thoughts on them. I didn't really watch.
Sure.
I haven't watched highlights. I haven't watched anything. I can just give you what I thought, was interesting based on the games. But I think most people can understand that this team has been so bad for so long. And even though it wasn't a good game, it was not. The scoreboard does not do justice to what was happening. At one point, the game was 33-7. So
yeah,
I only watched this game purely on the fact that I just haven't seen them be that good in so long that I kind of forgot what it was like to be good for a time period. So, I mean, the words don't do justice for this game, only visuals. So if you didn't see this game, you gotta watch the highlights because, I mean, Andy Dalton made it look way too easy. And like what Sean McCoy was going off, like, so many analysts were going off about like, oh, you can't bench Bryce Young. Sean McCoy said, oh, if he was a white quarterback, they wouldn't have benched him. All these different things were said. Everyone's saying that there's so much dysfunction, which I agree with, but everyone was just crapping on the Panthers, and pretty much everyone said they had no shot. And it was really, really, really nice to just watch them just make everyone eat their words. It was nice to watch like a team like feel like they had a chance from the moment the ball was kicked off because of their quarterback play. And honestly, it just kind of proves that this team isn't bad. Like, this team isn't bad the way they're constructed. They have good wide receivers. Everyone said, oh, the wide receivers can't get open. I mean, Deontay Johnson had 8 catches for 117 yards. Like, obviously, the dude got open. How else are you getting in the ball if he doesn't get open? I mean, the running game actually had life to it because of the fact that they could throw the ball, so they can actually run the ball now. So Chuba had 100. Chuba Hubbard had 100, and what was it, 117, 112 yards rushing. So like
114.
114. I mean, that's proof in itself. I mean, it's proof that the team is constructed well. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, well, the O line's like really bad." That was last year's O line. This year's O line, if you look at the stats, is ranked 5th in all the NFL. Like, obviously, the O line isn't the problem. Yeah, Andy Dalton got sacked, but what quarterback goes through a whole game without getting sacked once? I mean, that doesn't happen very often. So,
yeah,
I just think it shows the fact that I don't think that Bryce Young is bad. I just think Bryce Young is bad right now. I just think that he got murdered so much, so bad last year that he's afraid to sit back in that pocket and, let things open up. You can tell he doesn't even need to run away or run out of the pocket, and he still does. There's just things that it feels like his rookie year just rubbed off bad on him. And honestly, I think it's, pretty poor that they even threw him in there like that. I get it, first round pick, and some guys below him were starting, but like, you don't need to. Like, you had Andy Dalton. You should have just started Andy and then let him learn. I mean, I don't understand people's problem with letting a rookie quarterback learn. I guess I want to say, like, the proof is in the pudding, but like, Patrick Mahomes is like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and that man didn't play his first season. He sat behind Alex Smith for 17 games and then played the last game, or 16 games and played the last game. I mean, you don't have to start the rookie just because you can or want to. Like, it was unnecessary. It probably would have been better last year for Andy to get beat up. He probably wouldn't be starting this year if he started last year to get beat up. But I just think Andy Dalton allowed them to. I don't want to say, but he's just a gunslinger, And you can just tell by the weapons and the way the line is built. Like, this team can easily win games with a gunslinger kind of quarterback. So, not shy about it. I'm proud of the way they looked. I think it looked amazing. Even the defensive side of the ball, they looked really good. Maybe stopping the run a little bit better, but I mean, guys got open, but they got interceptions. So there's nothing that I thought was, poor about the Carolina Panthers performance. I thought they did everything correctly from kickoff to final whistle.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't really watch this game, so I ain't got much to comment. I just one direction I want to go with this is, I don't know if you heard the comments of AP after the game, but basically, you're saying, certain players on the Raiders were making business decisions. So as an organization, as a head coach, he's going to make business decisions going forward. I guess was kind of, most people are speculating he's talking about Devontae Adams.
Well, I think there's like a couple players he was talking about.
Yeah, for sure Devontae, if you watched him, he just wasn't blocking, didn't really seem engaged. I think, didn't Minshew throw a pick and he didn't even try to tackle the guy? So
yeah, that happened. There were some guys on defense too who gave up on plays as soon as things developed. I mean, if you look at the play in which Andy threw the ball across the middle and Deontay Johnson caught it, and I'm pretty sure this was right before halftime, and they were playing their prevent defense, but nobody's even trying to take this guy down in the middle of the field, and they allow him to run an extra 10 yards and get out of bounds, which was completely pivotal. I mean, at that point they had 2 timeouts, and now they have time to kill more clock. So I think he's talking about a lot of players, not just a set few. I think once it settled in that the Carolina looked really good, I think this team just gave up. I don't think they were prepared for that. I think they were prepared to have an easy win against the worst team in the league. I think that's what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, guys. I'm pretty sure though we can probably say that if Devontae Adams was ever close to getting traded, it's probably now. We'll see.
For Devontae Adams is about to go down.
We'll see if the Jets bite on this. The Jets are in a good spot, but if Aaron pushes for his guy, they're gonna they're more than likely gonna make this trade. So we'll see.
It seems likely is the fact that Reddick hasn't played. I mean, he just hasn't played. And Devontae's going to play for Aaron. That's the difference.
So we shall see, but this is definitely interesting to keep our eyes and ears peeled for, because I mean, a head coach saying something that stern is, we usually don't hear that as people, fans, and people in the media, whatever. That's a pretty damning statement, to say the least. 4:00 games that I watch, Dolphins look terrible. Skylar Thompson didn't get knocked out, but he had some chest injury. I don't know if it was a contusion or some people speculated maybe a punctured lung, but he, was out the game. And then the practice squad guy came in, Boyle or whatever his name is, and he just did not play well. So the Dolphins are in a bad spot, Lawrence. I feel like if Tyler Huntley can't turn this thing around, they might be 0-7-ish. Maybe they'll win a game with some luck. But
to trade for Bryce Young, so that tells you a lot in that.
Yeah, this is a pretty for a team that we both had pretty high. I think we both had them third. Yeah, I had the Jets. I'm pretty
sure you had the Jets. I'm pretty sure I had the Jets winning the division. You had the Bills winning the division.
Yes.
We had Jets, Bills 1-2. Flip-flop. Both of us had the Patriots at the bottom. So I still think they're going to finish near the bottom, but with the development of how the Dolphins are looking,
yeah,
I think it also buys the coach, like Mike McDaniels. I think even if they have a bad season, I don't think he's on the hot seat.
Oh, no. They just paid him, so I think he's good. I think, if anything, he just has to, tailor whatever Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley basically is good at running Lamar's offense, so if you can just tailor your offense a little bit to Tyler Huntley for the next couple weeks, not just make him run to his offense, I feel like they'll be fine. But we'll see how flexible he is with his system. He seems pretty dead set on just running it with whoever he has and hope for the best, but that's just not the case. They've just been looking bad.
He's got 2 good games with Titans and Patriots coming up, so he has time to make improvements against bad teams.
This is true. 2 other games I watched, Lawrence. I didn't watch the Lions-Cardinals, but I did watch heavily Ravens, Cowboys, 49ers, Rams. 49ers, to me, I'll start with them first. I feel like they had this one, not in the bag per se, but this one was pretty much almost lock and key, and then they started making some dumb decisions, and here Matthew Stafford in the fourth quarter, I wouldn't bet against him. Kyron Williams had a good game. Tutu Atwell had that good punt return to get them back into field goal range towards the end of the game. So, the Rams, they needed this one with Lawrence, because we were both pretty high on the Rams. I even said take the Rams over on wins. Mm-hmm. And, it was looking kind of dire with no Puka Nacua and no Cooper Kupp. But they pulled this one out. Pretty impressive, honestly.
I think the most impressive part about it is the fact that the team is broken. But they had the benefit of everyone's going to play really strong and hard against their divisional opponent. At one point I picked the Rams, so I had the Rams spread with the Panthers spread, and I literally was mind blown. I put a good chunk on it, and I was mind blown because I was like, wow. I thought the Panthers were going to blow this one, and the Rams are going to blow this one. And I was watching the Panthers game because I was not turning away from that. And the next thing I know, it was from 24-7, it was 24-17, and I was like, okay. All they got to do is get a touchdown or a field goal, and we're back in it. If they go to overtime, it doesn't matter because the spread was 6.5. So I'm automatically locked in. They can't beat them by more than 7. So we're good. So, I was doing all the maths, and it got to a point where there was like, I saw them kick the ball, and the guy ran it back for about 30 yards. His first time ever touching the ball, mind you. And I was like, I was just supposed to be lucky today. I couldn't be lucky against college football, though. So, you gotta win some and lose some.
Yeah, you gotta win some, you gotta lose some. So that was the Rams. Good win by them. And then let's move on to what was the other game?
The Cardinals and the Lions. I don't think either one of us watched that. Oh, you watched
I didn't watch that.
You watched the
Ravens Cowboys. I watched the second half, and the Ravens have a problem, Lawrence. They can't finish games.
That was their problem last season, was it not?
Yes, same problem. I think it's even more like prominent now because they lost their DC, they lost their defensive line coach, they lost Queen, so they lost a lot of guys, and I think it's really catching up to them. And then on the flip side, Cowboys still can't stop the run, Lawrence. I mean, that was their big Achilles heel last year. This year it's looking even worse, and they can't even run the ball. So they're in a bad spot. They're in a real bad spot. Jerry Jones is pretty stupid, incompetent when it comes to GMing this team. I don't know how in the hell he thought this team could even compete with no solid running back. You basically have a bunch of, guys who can't really be like a workhorse. You got guys that are, at this point, specialists in the run game. And, if you're expecting Dak to do everything, he's already shown you can't. So this is all on you, Jerry, honestly. So they're in a bad spot. And the Ravens are also in a bad spot because their secondary is quite bad. I mean, they were bad last year, Lawrence, remember? But I feel like this year they're even more exposed as, you can pass on the Ravens. And, come fourth quarter, the Ravens are going to give up big leads.
Yeah, I think it's mainly from the fact that the Ravens keep trying to do. I think offensively, I think they try to do too much.
Yeah.
Because early in the game, they were running the ball very effectively. It looked really good, and then they stopped running the ball as much as they did later in the game. They tried to pass it more. They tried to be too cute. It's like it was working. I don't understand. I get you're trying to be 50-50, you're trying to be equal, you're trying to be, you're trying to not let them know what you're about to do, not trying to show your hand, but if something's working, why even mess with it? Why bother to change it? If it works, it works. If it's not working, it's not working. But there were some things that they did that it was just no need to change, and they decided to change it anyways, and I think that's ultimately what almost blew the game. Was the fact that you could have easily just kept pounding it down their throat with the run game with Lamar, Henry, and then Hill, and you just stopped.
Yeah, and to second that, why are they running Henry out the shotgun? Henry is not. Henry has always flourished in I formation, in single back. Hell, even pistol is a better option than straight out of shotgun. You're not giving him opportunity to build up speed and hit the hole hard. It's just a zone read run scheme, and that's just not a strong suit. He's a big guy. He needs the momentum to be able to run guys over. Not saying he can do it from a standstill, but it's just making it harder for him. And he's up there in age, so you can't expect the same Henry as when he was first in the league and in Tennessee and just doing the things he was doing. So Ravens got a lot to figure out. Whoever the OC is, you don't have to totally change your system for King Henry, but you gotta at least give a little bit, right? Like if you really want to beat the Chiefs and go back to the where you were last year, this isn't the recipe.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you. I think there's a lot of things this team's got to work on. I think it's mainly just growing pains though. But no, like when they do the Henry out of the shotgun, it leans more towards Lamar's about to take it, rather than Henry's about to take it. So you're kind of also playing your hand again, like we were just saying. You're playing a hand that didn't need to be played.
100%. It's pretty pretty bad situation. Well, not pretty bad, but it's pretty dire there. Potentially starting 0-3 was not going to be good for them. 1-2 is definitely better, but not that much better. But I mean, Cincinnati's kind of in the same boat, so I can't talk too much. Did you watch the Lions Cardinals? I didn't really watch this one.
I watched it because I had money on the Cardinals, but like it was just like a throwaway, to hope for the best. It was a little parlay. It was Cardinals to cover the spread, which they didn't. But I watched the end of it as it tailed off.
Mm-hmm.
There were some controversial things in it, and more when I say controversial, there was like a roughing the passer called on Kyler that was pretty weak, which kept the drive alive. But I mean, was it something that blew the game up and was like, oh man, this was a ruined game? No, it wasn't anything like that. It was not nearly to the extent of Falcons Chiefs, where blatant pass interference in the red zone is not called twice in a row, mind you. Not even just once, like twice in a row, third down and fourth down, mainly the fourth down one. Just blatant pass interference, just not called. But lesser pass interference was called last week before, to help them win. And again, mind you, the refs did try to help the Falcons get down the field again later in the game. But I mean, that was later in the game. I mean, what had already happened. And they had two great opportunities to score, and they were cheated out of it twice. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice segue, but yeah, the Chiefs, I mean, you can't make this up, man. I mean, it's not even benefit of the doubt anymore, Lawrence. It's just, should be expected at this point. It was blatant. I mean, I don't see any way you can dispute that this was not pass interference, and you kind of see it over here. But I mean, it's ridiculous. The Falcons had a real shot to win this game. Like you said, the refs kind of helped them on that last drive. Now, to their fault, it's 4th and inches. Why are you running off the tackle?
Yeah, and you haven't been able to run the ball game.
Especially with Bijan. Now, Tyler Algier has been able to... He busts a couple runs, Lawrence. I'm not going to lie. He looked like the better of the two backs. You can even... I mean...
No,
he only carried the ball 7 times, but he averaged 4.5 per carry.
And Bijan... in the middle. Bijan was trying to go to the outsides and just couldn't get anything going. But in that last instance, like you just said, running up the middle of Algier, because he's consistently getting yards going up the middle.
Yeah, that last play didn't make any sense. If you watched Nightcap last night, Ocho was kind of saying maybe you run play action, but I don't agree with that because Kirk he's coming back from Achilles. He's moving well, but he's not moving that well, Lawrence, to the point that I would trust Kirk to make either scramble for the first down or even run fast enough away from whoever's chasing him after a play action. Like, I just don't think that was a good idea. Your best shot was just give it to Algier, give him a lead blocker, and you just live with that. That last play it just wasn't a good one, honestly. But yeah, even before that, they got screwed in the end zone with that clear pass interference.
In the clear scoring moment, they got screwed.
Yeah. So Chiefs walk away lucky again. Mahomes on the last drive, on one of the knee downs, he looked like he kind of hurt himself. So he said he was fine, but he obviously was kind of shaken up by that. Just, I don't know. He said his leg got caught in the turf or whatever. So,
I mean, I know I'm a broken record with it, but like, personally, I just think I'm kind of glad he kind of got hurt at the end of the game. I'm talking about Rice. because I don't think he should be playing. I mean, there's other people who did less, got more punishment.
He got more.
I mean,
yeah.
this man had like a 6-car accident, did he not? And
Almost killed people, and he just like nothing happened.
nothing happened. And we get Calvin Ridley suspended for a year because he was sports betting. Like, you're literally telling me that having a 6-car accident, going like 100-something miles down the road trying to drag race with people, is less of a crime than betting on, not even betting, just betting. Because Jamison Williams got caught betting on, like, baseball during
Something,
like preseason, like not even preseason, like training camp.
And
like,
mind you, it was a hit and run because they totaled the car and ran. And then he turned himself in like the next day or
like
2 days later. Like, the fact that Rice didn't receive any type of punishment from Goodell, I mean you're hitting the nail on the head, Lawrence. I mean, it's preferential treatment.
And it's because if you look at their team, if you look at the receiving stat, it's because the whole team would be completely trash. Like, they just would suck. I mean, they just would suck. He caught 12 balls. Like, you take away those 12 catches, they're just bad. They're not a good team.
And let's talk about, the elephant in the room. Mr. Kelsey has not played well, Lawrence, in 3 games.
He's also, like, barely playing either. Like, Noah Gray is way more of a factor on the offense.
No one's really said anything about this, so I'm not going to speculate, but, I mean, is he hurt? I don't know. Doesn't look like himself, honestly, from my, seat on the couch, but who knows? I mean, he just hasn't been Travis Kelsey, but then again, a lot of people haven't played well to start this season, so we'll see. We'll continue to monitor this, but you're right. Without Rice, the Chiefs would probably be in a very dire situation. They honestly might be 0-3 if they didn't have Rice from the punishment that he should have had, but it's not the here nor there, is it?
I don't know. I think it's dumb.
I know. I'm right there with you. I think it's very, very dumb. Moving on, I guess college football. I guess really the only game I really watched was the Colorado game. So, Lawrence, if you want to go gloss over some other games before we tackle that, go right ahead.
Personally, I didn't watch a whole lot. I took a few games. I tried to keep it low key. I just put more money and less bets, more money per se on bets. And I got hoed. I got hoed hard. So like I said, you win, then you learn. You win, then you lose, and you win. It's got to be a cycle. And the cycle was I picked Illinois to beat Nebraska because Nebraska's head coach is Matt Rule. So my haterade came up, and I took Illinois, and Illinois came up strong. I got that dub early. Took LSU spread, which was 14. They covered, so we did good on that aspect as well. Then started coming the misses, mind you, some might say. I took Oklahoma to cover. That didn't happen. I took USC to beat Michigan, just straight money line. That didn't happen. I took Oklahoma State to beat Utah at home. That one didn't happen. Need I say more? I mean, I took Texas A&M to beat Bowling Green. That happened. But then I also had I think I had Georgia Tech to cover the spread against Louisville. That didn't happen. So even though I didn't, do any parlay, like big huge parlays or anything like that, I was just doing like, ones just, like 2-leg parlays, just it just seemed like nothing hit on anything. I started good early. I thought it was gonna be a good day with LSU. I thought, oh man, we're gonna go on a run. We're gonna have a good one. We're gonna make some money for Sunday night or Sunday football. Did not happen. And then I didn't really want to bet on the 1:00 games. All I did was I took some winners and I took a parlay that sucked. So, for college, I didn't truly watch that many games. I watched USC. just look like trash. I mean, they just look bad. I mean, they were given so many chances to beat Michigan, and they just blew it. And then when they finally got the lead, they just allowed Michigan to work down the field, running the ball consistently well, and kill all the clock that they had. So they just couldn't stop the run. And that's really what it came down to, because the quarterback for Michigan was pretty much trash. He threw for 32 yards. So they literally couldn't stop a running game, which is, I'm sorry, but like, this is college football. Like, not to say that that's, going to happen, but there's a lot of teams that all they do is run the ball, and you got to be able to stop the run. And I think USC has just got exposed that they can't stop the run. I kind of thought they would be able to stop the run based on how they, I wouldn't say solidify, how they subdued LSU. I just think it kind of stirs more to the fact that LSU may not be that good. Because LSU really struggled with South Carolina. And South Carolina barely beat Old Dominion. Now, South Carolina also did destroy Kentucky, and Kentucky almost beat Georgia. So we're just seeing some, people feeling each other out, some fishiness going on. But in the end all be all, as long as Matt Rule loses, we're all good.
Mr. Uno, Jamar Chase, just caught a 41-yard touchdown. So Commanders are Cincinnati is up, Lawrence.
No, bruh.
Just some background. Lawrence took Commanders to win on draft. What was it? What was the promotion, Lawrence?
DraftKings. Was it early win? If some team goes up by 7, you automatically get the money line win. And the Redskins were a plus 250. And I put $5 on it. And I was like, oh, if they just score the opening drive touchdown, we're good. We're good to go. Damn. I have Jamar Chase on my fantasy league, so like, what do you want to say about that, huh?
There you go.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the games you glossed over, I watched. But I think specifically the end to the Colorado game. I mean, they played decently. They kind of played bad in the first half. Second half, picked it back up. Shedeur is getting beat the hell up. Offensive line is complete garbage. This is confirmed. But somehow, some way, found a way to tie it up on that last second Hail Mary. I don't know if you saw that, Lawrence, but that was a damn good Hail Mary. One of the best I've ever seen. And then Travis Hunter, he's him. That man is him. From all the catches, all the big time catches, all the defense, tackles, and then the forced fumble was at the goal line. This kid is good, Lawrence. As long as they win like 6-7 games, which they're only 3-4 games away from doing that. He has a pretty strong case of being the Heisman winner. He's him. I never seen nothing like this.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna come out to the draft this season, or he's gonna stay in there?
We have to see who's the
Sanders coming out, but I don't know, because they were saying that Carolina would get him if they were number 1 overall pick, and I'm just like, I think I would want him.
Well, if you think about it, he's probably gonna come out as a receiver so he can get paid more. I don't think you come out to the NFL as a DB because you're not gonna get paid as much. Now, Surtain got a decent deal, but I think as a wideout, you can probably get more, right? Yeah, and then you can probably even ask. You can probably even ask for more if you like. Okay, I'll play DB a little bit here and there. Like if you go dime package, I'll go out there and play.
I don't know. I just think he looks better at wide receiver.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's definitely a wideout. Yeah, but I think it depends on who's the number 1 pick. I feel like if you guys are, he'll probably have some reservations. Depending on now, let's say Bryce Young does come back sometime this year and he looks decent after he kind of settles down. maybe then, but I think it all depends on who has the number one pick and what they want to do with it. Because I think even if you guys get the number one pick, I think you would probably move on from Bryce and probably get yours maybe.
At this rate, it's going to be the Titans. They look like the pound for pound worst team right now.
You think the Titans? The Titans.
I personally think right now the Titans look like the worst team. I think the Titans also could be 2-1. That is also true, but their quarterback consistently just does dumb enough stuff to make sure they don't win. It's almost like he's trying to do it on purpose, but he's not. It's almost like maybe Vegas is calling him and telling him, "Hey, like do this, do that." Maybe someone has to look into
it. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The Dolphins, they might fuck around and go 0-7 if Tyler Huntley can't make something happen. So, who knows? Dolphins might be, and this is a might be in that conversation. Titans, Patriots,
Giants,
yeah.
Browns, the Browns.
Yeah, if they don't get their act together, the Browns.
Because they're not going to see any need to bring Chubb back. They're just not. They're just not going to see it. They're just going to be like, oh, let's just ride this one out.
But, only one of those teams can you honestly say doesn't need a quarterback. The Patriots probably the only one that wouldn't draft Ewers. If Quentin Ewers comes back and looks good, he's going number one probably, right? Or if you like Shador, you might take him more, but...
Yeah, but does Ewers even come back? Because Manning looks fine.
This is true.
People get hurt, and I'm sorry, but Drew Bledsoe was the Patriots quarterback, and they thought he was a franchise guy. He got hurt. Tom Brady didn't look back. So, stuff happens. People lose their jobs. It's just something that goes down. On the other note, the Bills are currently winning 19-3 with a point after attempt coming. So maybe the Jaguars are pretty bad. Maybe. But Keon Coleman just got his first touchdown. So
now is that Trevor Lawrence? Is that Doug Peterson? What are we blaming this bad? They got a bad.
Well, what I'm watching right now is the fact that their defense is just getting torn to shreds. Trevor Lawrence has only touched the ball twice.
Oh.
I think it was almost a 3-and-out. It was more like a 5-and-out kind of situation. Then he drove down the ball. He drove down the field and got 3 points. It's just the Bills have scored all 3 times they've gotten the ball. So
yeah.
I'm not blaming this one currently on Trevor Lawrence. I'm blaming this one solely on the coach because his defense is not ready. His defense is just not it right now. Not even.
That's another low key team we gotta watch out for because we were both. At least I was high on the Jags. I had them sneakily winning this division, but 0-3 is not a good place to be, y'all. It's not a good place to be.
I can tell you the Jags had an opportunity to be a lot worse than they were last year.
This is true. All right, Lawrence. Any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Any hope that Mike Chad had of winning, I'm pretty sure that Ja'Marr Chase touchdown just nullified all that with a Keon Coleman touchdown. So, as long as the Bengals keep churning some points, there is pretty much no way for him to catch me. And as long as the Bengals keep churning points, I'm just going to keep getting kicker stats. So he's a Dunzaroonie because all he has to hope for is who does he have? Oh, he's got Zach Moss. As long as Zach Moss doesn't score 3 touchdowns.
He's not going to score 3 touchdowns. Hopefully. Probably not, but...
Hey. You better knock on that wood. Don't you ever say something like that, man.
My team is 0-2, but I don't know. I haven't checked them, so... mostly because C-Mac is out, so I feel like once C-Mac comes back eventually, my team will be okay, but... Some of my performers just aren't performing, so I'm in a rough spot. 0-3 in fantasy is also not a good spot to be because
Yeah, this is
it's
the
hard to
first
play
time
catch
that
up.
My fantasy team has actually put a week together as a consistent unit. I mean, I've had people splotchy be good, but I haven't had a consistent all-around unit be good yet.
Yeah, in all my leagues, all my teams are pretty bad. So
Cooked by Luke McCaffrey.
yeah.
Oh my god! Look at the Commanders go.
All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna sign off. This is MTL Sports Podcast, y'all. Episode 116. We'll catch up with you later this week. Until then, have a good one. Peace out.
Peace.